Homemade dough is so good, but I think we can all agree that especially during the holidays, the store-bought refrigerated doughs are so perfect for making different appetizers and things of that nature. We are gonna make several different in this video. I've got some with biscuit dough, some with puff pastry or crescent roll dough. These are so delicious. I'm starting with my muffin tin. That's what we're starting with. We're gonna make some mini pot pies, and I'm gonna spray 6 of these. I'm only making a half recipe of this because I've got several other things that we're making for dinner tonight. But if you want to, you can make the full recipe, which is 12. And what that tells me is I need to open a new one of these. So we've got I can't even count. We've got 6 of these sprayed. This is my puff pastry dough. You can also use crescent roll dough that you just roll right out. It's totally up to you, whichever you would like to do. We're just gonna roll this out. It's also thawed for the most part, a round cookie cutter, and we're gonna cut out pieces here. And I personally am gonna go this direction because we're gonna use these extra bits later on. I'll probably put this back in the refrigerator while we work on the rest of the recipe so that this can actually harden back up just a little for the purpose of the rest of this video. So you're gonna take your round and just press that into your muffin tin. As you can see, I've pressed these in to my muffin tin. That's all you need to do is just press those in a little bit. You can smooth them out, make them look really pretty, totally up to you. I am going to move over to my stovetop because the filling is gonna be made over there. All right, we're starting with a 1/4 cup of butter. Okay, our butter is melted, so we are adding 3 tablespoons of flour. We'll stir that together, kind of making a paste with this. And in my measuring cup already prepared, I have a 1/2 cup of milk mixed with a 1/2 cup of chicken broth, bone broth, chicken stock, whichever you prefer. Let's mix all of that together. And it's gonna thicken up, and there you have your cream of. Now you can add salt, pepper, whatever kinds of things you like. If you wanna do a mushroom-based one, you could add some mushrooms in there, add some celery in there, whatever your preference is. But we do need to bring up the heat here just so it gets to a simmer so it can help to thicken it up. You can see that thickens up really quickly. I've got some cooked chicken already shredded. I shredded it, pulled it off the bone and shredded it. We're gonna add it right here into this mixture. Now, if you want to, you could use canned chicken, you could use rotisserie chicken, use your leftover chicken that you had last night for dinner and just shred some and add it in here. I probably only need a cup, honestly, based on the amount of pot pies that we're making, but you can kind of mix in, figure out how much you need. I feel like this is actually gonna be more than what we need for this recipe. Let's turn our heat down. Now, we don't really prefer peas or carrots in ours, so I'm actually gonna add some basil. I think that this will be really good. This is some Thai basil, and I also have some bacon that we've already cut up, and we're just gonna change up the recipe a little bit. I'm gonna cut up some bacon into these, but you can add whatever you love. We might be inventing a whole new chicken pot pie here. Whole different thing. All right, I'm gonna take this and just spoon a little bit into each one. It's probably, I would say about a 1/4 cup goes into each one. I could get out my measuring cup and that would probably be really helpful, but this is already dirty, so we're just gonna use what is already available. Oh, this actually might be the perfect amount. I definitely overfilled that one though. My husband just got a new lawn toy. If you follow me over on Instagram, you have seen the just ridiculous amount of trees that we have, oak trees in our yard that drop it feels like a billion leaves. It's probably really close to that number. Anyway, we spend pretty much the majority of November, December, and January picking up leaves. We have a sweeper that attaches to our lawnmower, we've got a mulcher, we've got fire pit, we've got the burn barrel, all the things going at the same time, and it's never enough because it's just a massive amount of leaves. We are just gonna cut this down a little bit so that we can make squares and then strips. If you have a pastry cutter that has like the rippled edges, one of these, I just know all the technical terms, guys. That would be a really cute thing to do, but I'm just gonna cut strips with my pizza cutter. And then we're gonna take that and just do this type of number. And this is obviously a lot more work than you have to do. You lay another piece on the top and poke holes in it, like a square piece or a round piece would be totally fine to do that. I'm gonna do this on a couple, and then we'll see if I'm feeling extra enough that we continue down this path. I'm actually fully anticipating that these are gonna bubble up, like bubble over. I don't know, we'll see how these turn out. I feel like you could probably do a much better job. Patience is not my virtue, so I was moving fairly quickly on these. We'll see what happens. These are gonna go in my 400-degree preheated oven for about 16 to 18 minutes. We'll pull them out. They should pop right out after they've cooled for a minute. We'll see how it goes. Let's cut open one of these little chicken pot pies. That's what they are. As you can see, if you don't press down the edges, you're gonna get lifting on the edge. It was actually a lot more when it was in the oven. It's fallen since I took it out. But when it was in the oven, I was thinking, oh, this looks really funny. But you can see you've got the pot pie filling, all the good stuff in there. All right, let's try this with the addition of the bacon and the basil, because obviously this is not a traditional pot pie. This is me just making something completely new out of pot pie similar like ingredients. That's really good. That's way better than your traditional pot pie. Bacon, basil, chicken, homemade cream of, yeah, way better than your traditional pot pie. I think this is actually a very good option, really good. And use your puff pastry or your crescent dough. This is perfect with that. This is a party ring style spinach dip with pull apart biscuit dough. So good and easy to make. Now I'm gonna take each one of my biscuits, and I have two left over from the previous recipe. I'm cutting them in half, each one, and then I'm gonna roll them into a ball. You know, I was thinking I might even cut them into quarters, but I don't think we need to. Okay, we got two more to fit in there, so I'm gonna move them a little closer. I'm gonna take some olive oil. Well, this is avocado oil, but we're just gonna add some to the tops of these. I'm going to just make sure that it gets coated. Now, my preference is also to sprinkle with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and I love adding some oregano, Italian seasoning, whatever your favorite flavors are. And I honestly think a little bit of garlic powder is delicious here too. So a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, whatever you want to add. You don't need much, just a little bit of, this is Italian seasoning. Just add that to the top. Grated Parmesan, it's actually probably better for this recipe, but we always have shredded. That's just what's available here. So I'm gonna add a little bit to the top of each one. There's gonna be more cheese in the center. Oh, did I even say what we're making? We're making a spinach dip. I think I said that at the beginning. I can't remember. But let's just add a little bit of this. So good. I said it. Thank you. Set this to the side and we'll move on to the next part of the recipe. Now, I'm gonna add about a cup of ricotta into this bowl. Actually, let's just add whatever else is in here. We need some mozzarella, in between 1 and 2 cups. I'm not even gonna measure, just by sight. I'm probably going closer to 1 cup. I've got some frozen spinach that we're gonna use. You can use fresh spinach, but it's gonna release a lot of water in the cooking process versus this, it's already released its water. We need about 3/4 of a cup. It's not all the way thawed, but it'll get mixed together at some point. While I've got, While I've got my garlic powder right here, we need to add in about 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. We are adding some mayo. We always use Duke's, that's our favorite, about a 1/4 cup. If you have a spinach dip recipe that you love, feel free to use that. Don't feel like you have to use this one. I mean, I know a lot of them require sour cream. You can use Greek yogurt as a substitute. Use whatever recipe you love. I am gonna add a touch of salt. You don't have to. It's maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. This is gonna go in the center of my skillet here. Just spoon it all into the center. Now this is gonna bake for about 25 minutes or so on 350. Feel free to skip this next step, but I am gonna sprinkle with just a touch of red pepper flakes. Just for a little bit of heat there. All right, 25 to 30 minutes going in. Time to try this spinach dip. You guys saw it was nice and bubbly as it came out of the oven. I love that you can just pull right from here. Might want to oil your skillet. Oh no, it's fine. All right, so we're just gonna take a little bit and dip. I mean, look at that. That's what you want to see. That's a very good spinach dip recipe. I like that it's not too runny, I guess would be the word. This is a little bit of a thicker consistency for a spinach dip. And I actually really like it that way. I think the addition of the ricotta is really, really good. This is great. I love just being able to pull these off the side and dip them in. You gotta add the touch of red pepper flakes on the top with that little bit of heat. So good. Let's make some mini calzones. I love these because you can fill them with whatever you want. You could make just meat pies out of them. You could fill them with chili, buffalo chicken dip. We're gonna do calzones, so traditional. I'm gonna use these Annie's biscuits. These are typically the ones that I pick up if we do store-bought. Sprinkle my counter with flour because we're gonna use this as a workspace. It's nice and clean. That is flour, right? Yes. Ooh. It worries me because sometimes I have powdered sugar in one of them and I have used the wrong one before. Take these, take my rolling pin and roll it out. Oh, if you haven't seen where I make biscuit roll-ups, that's a great option. We love biscuit roll-ups. All right, now for us, we are gonna use a touch of ricotta cheese. We're gonna use some pepperoni. You can use the mini ones. It's actually probably better to use the mini ones. We've got some mozzarella cheese and I've got some shredded Parmesan cheese. We're gonna use all of it. You want to keep your ingredients not touching the edge because you're gonna mush the edges together. Pepperonis in each one. A little bit of parm, a little bit of mozzarella. Push this together, just creating that calzone shape, and then crimp the edges, okay? You can use a device if you want to crimp the edges. I usually just do like this and crimp with my fingers. And then each one of these is gonna get set over on a parchment lined baking sheet so that they'll be ready to go. And then we just repeat the process over and over. I am going to make, I think there was 6 in this. I have decided to use my fork to make them look a little prettier, okay? We are gonna crimp the edges with a fork, each one. Oh, that's only 5. I thought I made 6. Okay, last one. We need to make an egg wash for the top of this. So I've got 1 egg. I'm gonna add a touch of water. It's really not much at all, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon or so. Mix this together really well. Oh, and you know what I forgot to do? We have to cut slits in this, in each one of these, otherwise they'll burst. So we wanna do like maybe 3 slits in the top of each one. Take your pastry brush and just brush the top of each one with the egg wash. What that's gonna do is give it this really pretty sheen as it's cooking. Now you're gonna serve these with some sort of marinara. We make our own, and I pretty much always have it made, even kind of even frozen and just ready to go. For the nights when we don't know what we're gonna have for dinner, I can just take that out and thaw it, and we can make spaghetti with that, or lasagna, or you know, things like that, things of that nature. So I already have some made. It's a very simple recipe. I've made it several times here on my channel before, but that's what we're gonna use tonight for our dipping sauce, is just one of the marinaras I already have done. All right, let me make sure all of those slits are still good. These are gonna cook in my 400-degree preheated oven for about 16 minutes or so. You'll watch them, just make sure you don't burn them, and then we'll serve. All right, the calzones are done. They look perfect. You've got cheese on the inside. We've got our homemade sauce. It's really good. The sauce needs a little bit of salt, but that's on me because I made that. But you can see here all the goodness on the inside there. Add a dash of salt to the marinara. Now, since the biscuits are a little sweet, just because biscuits are sweet, I feel like that's probably why it feels like it needs a little bit of salt. It doesn't always feel that way when we make it, but I think that's what it's coming from, is the sweetness from those biscuits. But really great option for your canned biscuit dough. We are going to use this crescent dough sheet to make a delicious breakfast. It comes together so quick. It's so easy to make, and it is delicious. My kids love this one. My family loves this one. This is a great Christmas morning idea. Trust me. If you don't have a crescent dough sheet, you can actually just use a can like this of crescent rolls. You just push the seams together and you have the exact same thing. The other option is puff pastry, which you guys have seen me use before. And the last time we used puff pastry, it was in Mediterranean pinwheels. It's in this video right here. And let me tell you, that's more ways to use refrigerated dough. If you have not seen that video, you are missing out on our top favorite appetizers right now. They're so delicious. You have to go watch that video after this one. But let's get started on this one, as we have this crescent roll sheet here ready to go. So the first thing I do is preheat my oven to 375 degrees. We are going to be using this farmhouse ground sausage. Now I'm only gonna be using half of it. You can use the entire thing if you want to. It's totally up to you. The first thing we need to do is get our sausage into this pan. I've got it over medium heat. And like I said, I'm only gonna put half of it in here. While the sausage is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and crack 6 eggs into my measuring cup right here. Before we add the eggs in, let me tell you, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can pull your sausage out, then cook your eggs, and then lay everything out onto your puff pastry. Or you can put everything in the same pan and then lay it out onto the crescent dough sheet. So you're gonna see less layers if you mix it all together. We don't care, it doesn't matter to us at all. But if you're looking for kind of a prettier thing, you can go with the more layers. Now for the sake of this video, I am gonna show that to you so that you can see the egg layer and then the sausage layer, but we've many times mixed it all together. It's totally okay that way. All right, let's take this and just take it over and transfer it to a plate. I've got some paper towels on the plate just to let any excess grease drain off. Take the eggs and just drop those in. We wanna get that cream cheese in there as well. I'm actually gonna use 2 ounces of cream cheese instead of 4. Also, just because I have it, we're gonna mix in a little bit. I actually think this is habanero cheese, but you can use whatever your favorite cheese is. This is about a 1/2 cup. And we're just gonna scramble up these eggs. You can also add the cream cheese to the sausage if you wanna do it that way. I mean, this is just one of those recipes where there are many different ways to do this and accomplish the same thing at the end. One of my sweet friends here, Her name is Stephanie. She sent me this mix and chop. I'm pretty sure it was Stephanie. Stephanie, you sent it to me, right? It's easily one of my favorite kitchen tools. I use it in ways I would never even have thought I would use it. My heat was a little high for these. Just turned it down. Now, when I make this, my preference is not to cook the eggs all the way because they're gonna get cooked again in the oven. So we're gonna open up our, sorry, I know that's loud, open up the dough sheet and just roll it out onto my parchment lined baking sheet. Do a little bit of stretching here, just my preference. I'm gonna go right down the center of this with the eggs. Just a bit. All right, so we wanna spread these out, make them, you know, kinda even-ish, making it go all the way to the edge because we don't want the person that gets the edge slice to get gypped on what they're getting. Now we add our sausage. See why we don't need the full pound? I'm not even sure we need the half pound, to be honest, but I mean, it's so good. You can do this with bacon, sausage, chorizo would be delicious. What are some other options? Oh, I don't know. I can't think of any others at the moment, but I mean, there are definitely multiple ways or multiple fillings for this. I think the cream cheese for me that's the thing. That's the one you can't skip. Okay, now we're gonna fold over like so, okay? Same with the other side. Fold over. And we want to pinch. So we're gonna pull and pinch a little bit, making sure, you could flip this over so that it seams side down. I don't ever really find that it's an issue, and I don't mind either if it opens. It's not that big of a deal. Just pinch together those seams. If you're using crescent roll dough, it's gonna naturally do this, but I usually will just take a knife and make some slits in the top. Now you could do an egg wash on this if you want. It'll give it like a nice sheen. We're gonna skip that because we're really going for the flaky aspect of this one, but feel free to do that. And you're still gonna get flakiness to a degree, but it's just gonna give it that nice sheen on the top. This is gonna go into my 375-degree oven for in between 10 and 12 minutes. We have to cut this open so that you guys can see the lovely inside and just how good it is and looks. I mean, how easy was this, right? First of all, so easy. Second of all, you can cut this into slices, serve it really pretty on a board. I mean, how simple and fun. It's hot. Okay, that habanero cheese, that made all the difference. Okay, I am liking that. So good, so easy to make. If you would like to see another recipe made with refrigerated dough, with puff pastry actually, you need to go check out the video that I posted last week. It's got amazing appetizers in it. I'm telling you, they are some of our favorites that we have ever had. Phenomenal flavors. Go check it out right now. Our verse today comes from 1 Peter 3, 8 and 9. Finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. Do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you need more refrigerated dough inspiration, I have it here for you. I have several other videos here on my channel. Crescent roll dough, biscuit roll dough, whichever one you prefer, you're gonna love these. Check out the one that I have linked above. Have a great day.